One of hip-hop's favorite expressions is fake it till you make it, which is exactly what Bill Gates and Paul Allen did. The idea is that even if your circumstances are a disadvantage or you lack experience, so long as you project the energy and confidence of someone who's successful, it's only a matter of time till true success comes and finds you. It's an expression that's been used so often it's almost become cliche. Don't let its overuse fool you, though. I can promise you that this principle has real power, even after you make it. A great example is when I released the 50 Cent is the Future mixtape. It was the first project I released after being dropped by Columbia. I was in one of the most vulnerable spots I'd found myself in, and I knew I had to do something to grab the industry's attention. At the time, bootlegging was a major issue in hip-hop. Industry insiders had been getting their hands on albums before their official release dates, and then selling them to bootleggers. Those bootleggers would sell a disc with a fake cover on the streets for $5 to $10 a pop, instead of the $20 a CD might go for at Best Buy or Virgin Megastore. That left the artist completely cut out of the process financially. The bootleggers wanted to carry whatever was hot that the major labels were putting out. Albums like Nelly's Country Grammar or Nas's Stillmatic. Those artists, Nas in particular, would then do anything possible to keep their music from getting into the bootleggers' hands. And if they did come across some unlucky immigrant illegally selling their album, a beatdown usually ensued. I saw the situation completely different from those major label artists. Because I needed a buzz. I actively wanted my music to get bootlegged. To make it happen, I hatched a plan. No one would give me a record deal, but I decided to put The Future out on my own anyway. The key was to do everything possible to give it the appearance of a major label release. I hired a photographer to shoot the front cover, and a designer to create a package that looked like a regular release. I even put a fake barcode on the back cover to make it look as official as possible. Then I had my people leak the album to every bootlegger that would take it. My plan worked to perfection. The bootleggers quickly started pushing my album, not realizing they'd stolen something that I was trying to give away. All over the city, in different hoods and multiple street corners, word began to spread about a new 50 Cent album that wasn't available in stores. You had to know the right bootlegger to get your hands on it. Because it was so hard to find, it instantly became the cool thing to have. The perceived exclusivity only drove interest higher. In one instance, the perception was too strong. One of my homies was walking down Jamaica Avenue and saw an African guy selling The Future on a table. Unaware of my plan, my friend thought the guy was ripping me off. He ran up on the bootlegger, flipped the table over, and punched the dude square in his face. He ended up knocking the dude's teeth out of his mouth. Afterwards, my friend reported back to me what he'd done, thinking I'd be pleased. "What did you do that for?" I scolded him. "Fool, we need him to sell the CD, because we ain't got no deal yet. We're trying to create the buzz. Don't be punching anybody else in the mouth. You're messing with the whole thing, man." My friend was apologetic. "Oh, my bad, 50. I thought the dude was trying to steal from you." "Nah, this is part of the plan," I told him. "In fact, go back and buy a few copies just so him and his people know the streets really want it." I took a much softer approach with the bootleggers. One time I was walking towards Chris Lighty's office in Manhattan when I saw a guy with a bunch of CDs laid out on a sheet on the sidewalk. "What you got?" I asked him. "Oh yeah, I got that new 50 Cent, man. It's the bomb," he told me, obviously not realizing who he was talking to. "Oh, word? Let me see," I told him. Sure enough, he had 50 Cent is the Future. I loved knowing my CD was the one he was pushing first. I gave the guy a big smile and bought 2 copies off him. Had to keep that demand going. One of the major values that labels offered artists was their distribution network. The labels controlled which albums got into the right stores, as well as how they were displayed and promoted. By leaking my own music, I figured out a way around that. Those bootleggers became my own personal distribution network. As long as there was a demand, they were going to keep making copies and getting my music and my name out there. I'm confident that the success of my bootleg album is what helped me get on Eminem and Interscope's radar. I wasn't content sitting around hoping that someone would decide I was hot. I lit my own fire instead. By creating the perception I was as hot as the major label artists of the day, I basically paved the way to becoming one myself.